Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another review. This is the long awaited DC review of the 2017 movie that was supposed to be finished back then, but it finally got its director's cut, if you will. The Zack Snyder Justice League Snyder director's cut. hmm I finally got to see it, all 3 hours and 53 minutes. Yeah, it's not 4 hours. 4 hours and 2 minutes, that's false. Without the end credits, it's 3 hours and 53 minutes. I counted it. And, if you've seen the 2017 movie, you know exactly why this movie was made. It's basically like the theatrical release. Zack Snyder follows the Justice League, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, and The Flash as they attempt to save the world from the catastrophic threats of Darkseid. He's in this version this time. Steppenwolf, who has a huge upgrade, and the army of the Parademons. Now, I was interested in watching this cut, even though for years people were like, release a Snyder cut, release a Snyder cut, release a Snyder cut, and it got old after a while. It took a pandemic and two failures at the box office last year for DC to get off their ass and make this, because last year they had Wonder Woman 84, which bombed critically and financially, which is sad because it was too expensive to release now. And then you had Birds of Prey, which is they try to make an R-rated version of the Joker, but with a vagina, and that didn't work either. The movie hates women. But then you had this troubled movie, which it was a troubled production where Joss Whedon had to step in for Zack Snyder because of his daughter dying, and that's sad, very sad. The movie's dedicated to her at the end. That's a really nice touch for Autumn, Autumn Snyder, who passed away a couple years ago. So rest in peace, Autumn, but you will not be forgotten. And also, the film had to cost $70 million to compete with complete the visual effects, the score, new editing, and new material filmed in 2020. The cut was originally planned to be released as a both 6-episode miniseries and a 4-hour film. But plans for the miniseries were scrapped. Yeah, I'm glad. This film is long enough. Trust me, I'll get to that. It's one of my main issues with this. Zack Snyder's Justice League was released on HBO Max. I found another way to watch it because I had to. I'm not going to say which where. Critics generally consider the film an improvement. It is. There's a lot of things that they added here that are way better than the theatrical cut. But I'll get to that. Praise went towards Snyder's direction and the improved characterization. Yeah, they give more backstory to Cyborg. They give a new opening for the Flash. I think Steppenwolf has a way better voice in this. It's the same actor, but they just modified his voice. But good God, the movie's way too long. Oh my God. That is the biggest issue for everyone who's seen this cut. It's too fucking long, Zack Snyder. Your theatrical cut that Joss Whedon finished was under 2 hours. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't drag ass. The opening of this is the worst new thing that they added because they cut out the scene where Superman's face looked CG'd, where they've CGI'd his mustache. That looked terrible in the theatrical cut. I won't defend that. But this opening is so freaking long and pointless. Act one, part one, it could have been cut. I could have stepped much better if the movie was just 3 hours even or 2 hours and 45 minutes. That opening scene where you have the Themyscirans fighting, it's way too long. The opening is 8 minutes long. The intro with when they show the names of the people that worked on the movie and the actors and the writers and everything, it takes way too long. That should have been 2 minutes tops. You did not need to show, oh look, let's see the ending of BVS again, but from a different perspective. That was just, it was filler. I don't know why they opened the movie like that. Why couldn't you open it, I don't know, where Darkseid's coming out or Steppenwolf's talking to him or something like that. That was a good addition in like the second, third, and fourth parts of the movie. There's 6 parts, 6 parts in the epilogue, so 7 parts. And you didn't need the first part. It was completely useless. There's singing. There's a lot of that ancient music, which I'm sick and tired of. It was in Avatar. It was in District 9. It was in Mission Impossible 2. I hate that shit. And also, the Themyscirans, like, these women are awesome in the first Wonder Woman. Here, they feel like add-ons. The second movie, they would feel like add-ons, Wonder Woman 84. Are they going to always feel like add-ons, or are we going to just see them as individuals, you know? I think that spin-off with her mom is going to fail, because they're not as interesting as Wonder Woman. Just saying, like, Hippolyta and all these other girls, they're beautiful, decent actresses. I don't think they're horrible, but we don't get to know much about them. We don't know any of their names. They said their name once, And when they're fighting the parademons and Steppenwolf, it feels underwhelming. I'm like, I saw this already in the first Wonder Woman movie, and it was done better. Uh, things I liked about it. Steppenwolf scenes with Darkseid, the voice acting is really cool. His look looks way better with all the metal, and his horns look completed, and he looks more menacing. And even without the armor, he looks pretty badass. The action is way better. I will say that the action scenes, like especially in the third act when they're fighting the parademons, and they definitely they took out that red tint that we didn't put in this theatrical cut, which I was not a fan of, where they look like they're fighting inside of a virtual boy. Here, that they got rid of that. That a Russian family that the Flash saves, that's cut out of this cut version. They cut out some of the comedy that was felt flat because we didn't try to make a Justice League movie like an Avengers movie, and it's not the same people. When the Flash falls on top of Wonder Woman's bosoms, that's cut out. The scene. The pet cemetery scene, that's cut out. Mostly some of the dialogue with the Flash, but his intro is much better in this one. And in the original, in the theatrical cut, he meets his father in prison and says he needs a job. This version, he's running, into in like to a pet store to apply for a job, and then he's looking for his resume, gives it to the lady, and then Iris, Kiersey Clemens in this version, shows up and he saves her, touches her hair, and I thought that was a nice touch. And I do like the blue filter for the Flash when he runs. I prefer the yellow one from the TV show, but I'll take what I can get. It was a good scene. I think it's a good add-on. Gal has no new scenes, so if you're looking for any new footage with Gal Gadot, no, every scene from her in this movie is just from the theatrical cut, just a little bit extended and stretched out a little bit. They just made a few changes. Superman's black suit, it looks fine. I mean, I'm not a big Cavill fan, but the black suit looked cool. I'm not going to spoil too much because I don't want to spoil. People have already done spoiler podcasts all over YouTube since last week when the movie streamed. But I will say this: the scene with the Joker is not needed. It's at the very end. It adds nothing to the film. It's short, but it's all a dream, so it doesn't matter. The Joker, Leto, you cannot hold a candle to Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger or Mark Hamill or Jack Nicholson. You can't even hold a candle to Cesar Romero because his performance is campy and over the top, but it's fun. And has the best. He has a much better laugh. He's still doing that stupid cackle like ah 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 ah. It's not a Joker laugh. That's not a Joker laugh. His look is better than Suicide Squad, but he has 2 minutes of screen time in a dream. There you go. And riddle me this, Batman. Why does Mira have a British accent in this version? That bothered me. Even my friends don't know why that happened. So let me get this straight, Zack Snyder. Your vision was to have god awful actress Amber Heard do a British accent for Mira. It didn't work. It's as convincing as Kristen Stewart's British accent in freaking Snow White and the Huntsman. It's god awful. She's like, I can't do this. I won't do this. And I'm like, where did this accent come from? In the theatrical cut, she sucks in that, but she has no accent. In Aquaman, I saw that movie 2 years ago. She did not have an accent. That made no freaking sense. Like, I knew she was going to be bad. She was bad in the first Aquaman movie and in the theatrical cut because she's not a good actress, Amber Heard. But you gave her a freaking British accent? That did not make any sense. The scene with Volko was good. When him and Aquaman are talking, that was a good scene. The good outweighs the bad. Like I said, the worst thing is that god awful accent from Amber Heard, the first 30 minutes, and the scene with the Joker, and of course the running time, because this could have easily been 2 hours and 45 minutes. There's a lot of filler that could have been cut out. Like I said, the Themyscira battle, the Joker scene, and Amber Heard, because she doesn't add anything to the plot. She talks to Arthur with a British accent and has a mini fight with Steppenwolf, and then she's in the dream sequence at the end. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. But anyway, yeah, the rest of the film, some of the changes they made were good. I like that in this version, they cut out the scene, Do You Bleed? Because we heard that in BVS, and some people were not a fan of that. Martian Manhunter, he was cool to see there. He was in the trailer, so I'm not going to say which scenes he's in. I just want to keep it short. I still love Ezra Miller as the Flash. I know a lot of people say he was annoying, but in the hands of a capable writer, not the idiots that did Rise of Skywalker, fuck you, by the way, for that. He can be a much better Flash. I just hope that they keep him, grounded. They said the reviews were positive, saying and the consensus was a 73%. Zack Snyder's Justice League lives up to its title with a sprawling cut that expands to fit the director's vision and should satisfy the fans who willed it to existence. But it's just too long. You don't need 4 hours to tell a good story. Endgame did it in less than 3. If you don't count the end credits, the movie's 2 hours and 49 minutes. I counted. It's shorter than this movie, and it feels shorter. This movie, you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of fortitude to sit through all 3 hours and 53 minutes like I did. I sat through the entire thing, guys. The entire thing. I didn't see half of it and then see the other half. No. I said, screw it. I have a day to kill. Let's do it. I just think that this movie definitely needed more humor. Not as much as in the theatrical cut because they kind of overdid it because Whedon was clearly trying to make an Avengers movie just with the Justice League, but you don't need freaking, like there's a lot of scenes that could have been cut out. Remember Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, how long that was? You could have cut that opening act out. The prisoners singing, and it felt like that. The prisoners are singing and they're in chains and they're about to be hanged again. That's somber. I don't want to see that. We know that Zack Snyder likes these characters dark. I get it. Batman, it works fine. With Superman, it doesn't. The black suit, at least it'll make sense now because him wearing red and blue, just isn't going to work. But it should have been shorter. Watchmen had a director's cut that was shorter than this. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen the theatrical cut. It's a lot shorter. You can tell a story without stretching it out. Endgame had a lot of stuff in it, but it was epic. And that final battle, nothing can top that. While this is a huge improvement over the theatrical cut in a lot of ways, it didn't top Infinity War and Endgame, not even combined. Because Marvel, nobody does it better than them. They know exactly what they're doing. That's why they keep getting sequels and make billions of dollars at the box office. There's a reason this didn't make it to theaters because it's way too long. It's good, but it's way too long. Just like Wonder Woman 84. Sometimes a DC movie can be short and sweet. The Dark Knight Returns is long, but it's in 2 parts, so it's a lot easier to stomach. Is this the worst? No. Oh God, no. I'd rather watch this any day over the Suicide Squad that came out in 2016. I'd rather watch this more than Man of Steel. I'd rather watch this than The Suicide Squad, which is coming out later this year, because I don't care about those characters. Except for Peacemaker, because John Cena's going to steal the show. But overall, at least he put effort into this version. I will say that. But, like I said, the long running time was not needed. That was what everybody hated. The running time was criticized. Why did you need 3 hours and 53 minutes to tell a story that's about 2.5 hours at the most? If you trimmed the fat, the movie would have been a lot shorter. There are scenes that just go on way too long. And there's stuff from the theatrical cut back in this version. The scenes with Wonder Woman where she's saving those kids from those like European terrorists. That all they added was a couple of F-bombs and some CGI blood. That's basically what you get with that scene. It's not much. And R-rated, this doesn't feel like an R rating. I felt more R-rated with Joker, Dread, Watchmen, and even Logan was way more violent than this. This, they added some decapitations and people lose limbs, but it's all CG, so it doesn't look real. It's not like a human being loses their hand or something. It's mostly just, that the fight with Darkseid in the flashback and when Steppenwolf gets decapitated, yeah. But that's about it. Like a lot of the changes, some of the changes worked, but the longer running time did not. That's something that could have been trimmed down. At least an hour of the movie could have been cut, just for the pacing's sake. Because, like I said, the Themyscira scene it feels like it goes on for 20 minutes, and I'm not, knocking the film for lack of action. It has way more action than Wonder Woman 84, but you needed to trim the fat and cut down some subplots. Commissioner Gordon could have been cut out of this movie. He's basically the same cameo he was in the theatrical cut. J.K. Simmons' cameo in Far From Home was way better. This is really a really well-made movie overall, since this is his vision. But Snyder, you don't need to stretch it out. You're not Peter Jackson. You're not freaking James Cameron. In his early days, a long movie from him was good. Now, he just stretches a freaking movie's running time. You're not freaking Steven Spielberg. You're not George Lucas. But I respect the things you've done before. I like Watchmen. Like I said, I didn't like that owl movie, but it was visually stunning, and it wasn't 3 hours. And I respect the Dawn of the Dead remake. It's short and sweet. It didn't need to drag out. So he's a talented filmmaker. He just needs to get better writers to reduce the fat. Chris Terrio should not write again. Him and Jeff Johns, fuck off. Don't ever write another DC movie, and definitely stay away from Star Wars, because you saw what Terrio he did with Rise of Skywalker. He fucked it into the ground, making it too long and a MacGuffin movie. At least this movie, the only MacGuffins are the things from the theatrical cut. The three mystery boxes, the mother boxes come together, etc. You remember that. And I don't want to explain too much because I reviewed this movie on my old channel a long time ago. But the changes they made, there were some good ones. And there were some bad ones. Like I said, opening, the freaking running time, Mira's shitty British accent, and that Joker scene. If you had cut all that, I think the movie would have been 20 or 30 minutes shorter. And that would make a huge difference, but trust me. But anyway, if you haven't seen the Snyder Cut, I would recommend it. It's worth at least one watch to sit through the whole thing. Second viewing, I would skip some scenes. The opening, 8 minutes, let's skip it. We don't need it. It adds nothing to the plot. You just need to see the scenes with Darkseid and Steppenwolf. It's some of the coolest scenes. And also when he talks to Desaad, I don't know who that character is. That felt like Star Wars when the Emperor's talking to Vader in Empire Strikes Back. It felt like that. And that was a good scene because I like the voice acting. I think it's well done. And the effects look way better here than in the theatrical cut. Not perfect, but it's a lot better than Wonder Woman 84. At least with this one, I know what I was getting. I wasn't going to get a movie that was going to completely piss me off. I mean, there's haters that hate the DCU, and you know who you are. You know exactly who you are. I'm not one of them. There's a couple of films I didn't care for, but Shazam is still my favorite of the DCU. It's hilarious. It's shorter. It's got a great cast, mostly, except for Megan Good. And I can take or leave Mark Strong, but it's shorter, guys. And it has color. Zack Snyder, you can make a movie with color. Watchmen wasn't just a black and white movie. There were plenty of colors. You had Silk Spectre 2's gorgeous ass. You had freaking Night Owl's brown. You had blue Dr. Manhattan. Rorschach's mask was pretty badass. I mean, this movie would have been like Watchmen if it was just, shorter and didn't have to have 18,000 subplots. But I enjoyed myself. Would I entertain? Yeah. The second half is definitely stronger than the first half. The first half is just kind of slow. And like I said, if you cut an hour of this movie, it would not make a difference. At 2 hours and 49 minutes, it'd be just as good as Endgame. Just saying, because that movie did not feel long. Even the scenes that they're talking, I'm like, this is interesting. I'm invested. This was the first Justice League movie, live action, with a budget. You could have done better and instead of just stretching out the running time. But it's still well done. And if they never do a sequel, hey, get another person that can make the movie much shorter. Put Shazam in there. Put another girl in there. I like seeing Wonder Woman, but I would like to see another female kicking ass in the Justice League and not just in a subplot with Steppenwolf and Darkseid and the freaking Parademons or whatever. But like I said, it is well done. It'd be an honorable mention for 2021. Was it worth the wait? I'd say it would. But like I said, the good outweighs the bad, but only barely because it wasn't like there were 5 minutes of new footage and the rest of the movie was the same. This is not as good as the road cut of X-Men Days of Future Past, but it's way better than the freaking extended cut of Suicide Squad. I can say that because that's nothing. But there's worse cuts of movies, both from Marvel and DC. I'd rather take this any day over Fans Stick because that has no action. At least this does. Mercifully. But anyway, I want to keep this short, under 30 minutes. So thanks for watching, guys. If you've seen the Snyder Cut, tell me what you think about it. It's not perfect, but it's well done. What they did add, a lot of it worked for me, and some of it didn't. But that's life, Can't please everybody, but it was not a waste of my time. I killed a day, and I was able to watch it for free, so I can't complain too much. But thank you for watching, And hopefully I'll review something shorter next time. I have a live commentary coming in a couple days for Dire Kid 2. So thanks for watching and take care.